Alright lads, buckle the fudge up because we're diving into the biggest Fudgin shake-up in Premier League history. The Big Six is dead, and a new era is here in 2025. For years, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal and Spurs have run the show, but that shiz is over. The so-called greedy six are crumbling, and a new wave of clubs is taking over. Newcastle, Aston Villa, and even Fudgin Nottingham Forest are leading the charge. This ain't just a blip, it's a Fudgin revolution, and it's epic as fudge. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's rip this apart. Let's rewind, yeah? The Big Six, United, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, have been the Prem's untouchables since the 90s. Between 92 and 2020, they won 27 out of 28 titles. Only Leicester in 2015-16 broke the streak. They've got the cash, the fans, the history. United with 13 Prem titles, City with 7, Chelsea 5, Arsenal 3, Liverpool 1, Spurs, well, they've got it all. But you get the point. They've dominated top 4 finishes too. 90% of Champions League spots from 2010 to 2020 went to these. But by 2025, the cracks are fudging massive, and the dynasty's on its knees. The Premier League's landscape has been flipped upside down by foreign owners who've swooped in, bought up clubs, and turned them into proper cash cows, far from the local, community-driven roots they once had. Back in the early 2000s, blokes like Roman Abramovich grabbed Chelsea, and the Glazer family nabbed Manchester United, using leveraged buyouts, basically saddling the clubs with debt while they raked in profits through sponsorships and global branding, treating them more like business ventures than footballing institutions. The Glazers, for instance, used United's own profits to pay off their debts, aiming to end up with a debt-free club worth billions, while Abramovich turned Chelsea into a trophy machine, pumping in cash to win titles and boost the club's value. This blueprint caught the eye of mega-rich Arab investors, who saw the potential and followed suit. Sheikh Mansour bought Manchester City in 2008 through the Abu Dhabi United Group, transforming them into a global powerhouse with 13 major trophies. Since, while Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund snapped up Newcastle United in 2021 for £300 million, making them one of the richest clubs overnight. These Gulf state owners, inspired by their mates, aren't just in it for the love of the game. They're using clubs to diversify their economies, boost their global image, and pull in massive returns, leaving fans torn between success on the pitch and the soul of their clubs being sold off to the highest bidder. Let's break down the collapse, lads. Man United, a fudging shambles. 13th in the table by April 25, with 37 points from 30 games. Amorim's in, but they're a mess. Rashford's been shipped to Villa on loan. Antony's at Betis tearing it up, and they're barely scraping wins, drawing 1-1 with West Ham last month. Man City, they're fudging crumbling. 5th with 48 points, and Haaland out with an ankle injury, sidelined for 5 to 7 weeks since the FA Cup quarters. After bagging 4 goals in 4 games against Everton, they've lost 2 of their last 5, including a 1-0 defeat to Forest. Liverpool, they're the only Big Six still standing, first with 70 points from 29 games, under Arne Slot, who's got 15 wins in his first 17 matches, the best start ever for a Prem manager. Klopp's long gone, and Slot's a fudging genius. 2-2 draw with Fulham last month couldn't stop him. Arsenal, second, 61 points, but they're wobbling. Lost 2-1 to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final, and their 1-0 win over Chelsea ain't enough to keep the pressure on. Chelsea, fourth, 49 points. But they've spent 1.2 bill since 2022 and can't win for call. They're in the Conference League, not even Europa, after losing 2-1 to Liverpool in October. Spurs, 14th, 34 points, same old Spursy shiz, out of the Europa League and losing 2-0 to Fulham last month. Social media's buzzing, Big Six is dead, mate. Only Liverpool and Arsenal are holding on, and they're fudging right. Here's the kicker. The Big Six have been propped up by PSR rules that F over everyone else. Profitability and sustainability rules were meant to level the playing field, but they've done the opposite. The Big Six can spend 500 mil in a window and write it off with their global revenue. United's got £661 mil in revenue. City, £712 mil. Smaller clubs? They're screwed. Leicester, Wolves, West Ham, they've all been hit with points deductions in the past for breaching PSR, while the Big Six get away with murder. Social media's fuming. Prem's a joke. Anything goes for the greedy six. Smaller clubs can't compete long term, and it's true. But in 2025, the smaller clubs are fighting back, and the Big Six can't handle the heat. Let's talk about the new Fudgin era, lads. Nottingham Forest are leading the charge. Third in the Prem by April 25, with 57 points from 30 games. Since Evangelos Marinakis took over, they've been building £250 mil spent since promotion in 2022, but smart. Chris Wood's got 21 goals, and Anthony Elanga's got 7 goals, 5 assists, tearing it up. They've won 3 of their last 5, including a 1-0 battering of United. Newcastle United, 6th, 47 points from 28 games. They're a fudging force with Saudi cash. Carabao Cup final in March 25 sent shockwaves. Aston Villa, 9th, 45 points. They're scrappy under Unai Emery. Ollie Watkins has 10 goals, 5 assists. Rashford, on loan from United, has 2 goals, 4 assists in 10 games. Finally waking up. They're legit. Brighton, 7th, 47 points. They're mixing it with the big boys, drawing 0-0 with Forest last month. Bournemouth, 10th, 44 points. They're grafting, beating Everton 1-0 on Sean Dyche's last day before he got sacked in Jan 25. The mid-table's never been stronger. The standard's fudging unreal. How's this new era happening? First, the Big Six are slipping. United's a fudging mess. Spurs are a joke. City can't handle Haaland's injury. Chelsea and Arsenal are hanging on, but Liverpool's the only one still dominating. Second, the new boys have cash and brains. Newcastle's Saudi money lets them spend £400 mil since 2021, but they're smart. Isak for £63 mil, Guimarães for £40 mil, both bargains. Villa's got PSR wiggle room after selling Grealish for £100 mil in 2021. They've reinvested in Watkins, Bailey, and now Rashford. Forest are the real deal. Marinakis has pumped in £250 mil, and they've got gems like Wood and Elanga. The mid-table clubs are fearless. They're not just happy to survive anymore. Brighton's data-driven recruitment, Bournemouth's high press, Villa's tactical new under Emery, they're all taking points off the Big Six. Forest's 1-0 win over City, Newcastle's 4-3 thriller over Forest, and Villa's draw with Brighton. The Big Six are bleeding points. In 2024-25, the Big Six have dropped 20% more points to mid-table sides than in 2022-23. That's fudging mental. So, what's next for the Prem? The Big Six tag is fudging dead. It's more like a Big Two now, with Liverpool and Arsenal still hanging on. But Forest are third, Newcastle and Villa are pushing, and the mid-table's a fudging war zone. Anyone can beat anyone. Newly promoted sides are struggling more than ever. Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton are all in the relegation zone. Social media's loving it. Forest, Newcastle, Villa, the new big dogs. Big Six is history, and they're spot on. The Prem's more competitive than ever, and it's fudging electric. Right, lads, the Big Six is dead, and the Prem's new era is fudging unreal. Who's the new top dog? Forest, Newcastle or Villa? Drop your take below. Is the Big Six done for good? Smash that like if you're hyped. subscribe for more football fire, and let's keep this rolling. Next time, we're digging into another banger nobody's clocking. Catch you later. Peace.